All right. So much to talk about. Oh my God. How
Yeah,
the
just
heck,
so much Steelers
how on earth did this team make the playoffs?
by the
It's
grace of
unbelievable.
God. I'm an agnostic by choice, and by the grace of God, that this team made this playoff. I was literally, I had to take a day off work yesterday on Monday because I had to stay up and watch the freaking Raiders play the Chargers because they went to overtime. What game? Why? Why in the world would you put me through that anxiety? I lost my crap. I'm not gonna lie. Like
That
I was so wired after that game. I couldn't sleep. Like I could
that
not sleep.
that that Chargers Raiders game was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my lifetime viewing of sports. Uh just unbelievable. I mean, you know, Twitter is a horrible thing, but in times like that, when everybody gets together, it's a shared experience. And most of the country was rooting for a tie. Most of the country was rooting to screw the Steelers. It was beautiful. They wanted kneel downs. They wanted just a kneel fest.
You want to know the most terrible? You want to know actually the most terrible part? The Steelers won. I was content. I was happy. I was like, there's no way these teams are going to tie. And I tried to go to bed that night. And I rolled over around 9, 10 o'clock. It's halftime. And it's close. And I'm like, they're not going to tie. I roll over. I hear a beep on my phone. And my phone never beeps. My phone only beeps for like serious stuff. Like I literally have it set to that, like overtime scoring, like that sort of stuff, like for my fantasy teams. And it beeped for one of my fantasy players because they went to overtime. And I was like, I have to get up and watch this. Like, I can't not watch this.
I fell asleep.
Killing my soul, but I have to watch it.
I fell asleep somewhere around like 9, 10 o'clock or something like that. And I got up at about 11. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, like at that point, the Raiders were up at like 15. It's like, 15.
I got it just in time to see Justin Herbert throw that dart for a touchdown, which he honestly, he's a scary quarterback in the future. Like as much as I don't want to root for other quarterbacks, he's a little scary.
He's the real deal. He is amazing. But his coach is an idiot, and his team sucks. But he is an amazing quarterback, and he's going to be really good in this league.
Yeah, we hope so.
Mr. Go for it on fourth down on your own 18. Like, and they wouldn't be in that position if they were just a little less idiotic against the Chiefs earlier in the year when they kept going. They went for it on like fourth down from the opponent's 5 and they missed. They kept giving away points. It was just it's insane.
Yeah. Those are just coaching calls. I mean, you could say the same thing about John Harbaugh, the 2-point conversions he lost in a row. Like, yeah, one of those worked out really great for us, but had Mike Tomlin, sorry, freaking hero. I apologize.
But there was a time in the Steelers Ravens game when it was fourth down, I think 4th and 1 or fourth and short for the Steelers late in the game, and they decided to punt, and that was the right call. And the analytics people went crazy. It's like, how dare you, you idiot! Like, I think you got to go by feel. It's not just slam dunk, go for it.
It's a balance. You gotta carry the data in one hand, you gotta carry your gut in the other, and you gotta mash them together and see which one wins out, or see how they combine and make a beautiful picture. Sometimes like you mash the data and the and the probability together, and your gut, and you just like, oh, I got the perfect play for this, and the guy runs open for like a 50-yard touchdown. Like that happens in the NFL because that's how the NFL is.
And the both times that Harbaugh went for it at end of games against the Steelers and against the Packers, they went for it on 2. There were very good plays that very nearly worked, And if that was the case, he would have looked like a genius.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's my biggest argument for T.J. Watt for being the defensive player of the year is that play right there. He didn't deflect the ball. He didn't sack the quarterback. He got in the face of Lamar Jackson and made him throw that sidearm as AF, and that's what put it out of the reach of Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has arms bigger than God. Like his arms stretch from here from like north to south. Like that man can catch anything. But he threw it just outside because TJ Watt was just like, nope, I'm in your face. Get out of here. Get out of here with that garbage. And I also credit that to Cam Hayward because Cam Hayward taught him that hands put up technique that we also saw against the Browns in the second to last game, where TJ just pointed. TJ did that Aaron Rodgers point at Baker Mayfield. He was just like,
that's funny.
Your number, boy.
That was funny. Yeah, he batted down. He's like, ha ha. That was really cute. But yeah, this is I think the Steelers ended up with the toughest schedule in the league or something like that. If not the toughest, one of the toughest. And
I think it was like 30th or something. The ending end was like the toughest in the league. Like the last, because it used to be the last 8, but now it's like the last 9, 7, depending on how you divide it. Their last slide was really hard because they played all divisional opponents. They played the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, Titans. Like they played all divisional opponents. So yeah, that was really tough for them. Every loss hurt extra more. So
they played two teams that sucked, the Bears and the Lions. That's it. Every other team was either an almost playoff team or a playoff team. So that is, yeah. And they ended up, if you want to go by strength of schedule and making a case, they beat the Bills, the Seahawks, and the Seahawks weren't that good. They swept the Browns, they swept the Ravens.
How did we get swept by the Bengals though? That's the curious part.
Okay, the first game was a fluke because TJ Watt didn't play, and it was a disaster. And then in the second game, they just curb stomped them. It was an absolute butt kicking. But how much of this final playoff push these past couple games was just basically let's win it for Ben?
I think I'm not going to undersell that influence. As much as the team will probably downplay that and be like, no, it's next man up. No, it's we play for each other. No, it's about the team dynamic. No, there's no lack of emotion in this team. We remember what it was like when they made the run in what was it, the 2004 season, 2005 Super Bowl, and got Jerome his Super Bowl. Like that touched our hearts. Like that was my first Super Bowl. That was my first living Super Bowl, and I will forever remember that. And I was in tears. I mean, granted, I was a high schooler. I was like 16, 17 at the time, but I was in tears.
It was my first. Well, it was okay. My first Super Bowl was the one against the Cowboys in 1995. The Neil O'Donnell.
The first one we won.
Yeah, the first one we won. I remember in 2005 I was in tears too because that was my first championship was as a sports fan was when the Penguins won the Stanley Cup in 1991. But my first Steelers championship was that, and yeah, I cried.
Oh, I wholeheartedly cried. I could not even believe that. So,
that was amazing.
Yeah, that was the pinnacle right there. And then I find out that, like, because I don't understand sports logically at this point, and then I find out that the Steelers, like, defense really won that game, and Ben played really crappy, and like, whatever. And Hines is like one of the only wide receivers to ever win Super Bowl MVP. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's a weird anomaly Super Bowl, but they went on a run. I don't care. Like,
they won it for Bettis. Yeah, that was a perfect situation
My favorite play
perfect, and
of Ben's entire history is in that series of playoff games. The one where Bettis fumbles at the goal line, and you just see Ben turn and run,
the
and somehow
tackle.
shoestring tap. I don't know. I don't even know how that guy went down. Maybe that guy took a dive. Maybe Ben slipped him like a couple hundy before the game, and like was just like whatever. But Lord Almighty, he made that tackle. And that saved my heart for the Steelers because
It saved the Steelers' season. It saved Bettis' career because if they lose that game because of Bettis' fumble, that's all he would have been known as for.
Oh yeah,
I doubt he makes the Hall of Fame.
The first ballot Hall of Famer after that.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if he makes it at all. So, yeah, but I mean, so off. It's so rare for a player that that's about to retire or that's about to end his career to have the storybook ending. Usually it does not end well. Yeah. And and when Ben announced,
wouldn't this be the best Cinderella story of all time? They would make movies about this for years.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You got your Kurt Warner movie coming out. Tell me Ben wins this Super Bowl, you don't make this movie in 2 years. Tell me that.
You make a movie simply about like just this playoff run. Just basically from the Browns game on when he announced that this was going to be it. From that moment on until, whoever, if they go to the Super Bowl or whatever, there's a movie right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when he announced, so they get destroyed by the Chiefs, 36-10, and the score wasn't even that close, or it wasn't even as close as that score indicates. And sometime during that week, Ben says, "Yeah, this is it. This is probably my last home game," and it was that Browns game was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was just a big, chance for the city and Steeler Nation to say, thank you, Ben. Goodbye, Ben. And the crowd was amazing. Sucks that Pam couldn't make it tonight because Pam was there. But the crowd was amazing. That was such a special. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Cleveland sucks. I mean, the crowd was so into it.
The best part about it was Ben didn't have his best game that game. It was his team rallying around him and saying, this is the respect that we give you. Like, this is how much we respect what you've done for this franchise. And just getting sacks all over the place, breaking up plays. Najee Harris busting that run for the win. Come on. You cannot write a better ending. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't always want to be the guy that has it on his chest. If his teammates can handle it, he's willing to be the guy. That's the difference. He doesn't want to be the guy. He's willing to be the guy. So if Najee Harris can take it 30-some-odd yards for a touchdown, end the game that way, I'm down. I'm good. I don't need Ben to throw for 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's done that already. I'm cool.
And then the Browns get the ball back and they intercept it. So Ben gets his kneel down, his victory formation. I cried. That whole time.
Did you see them just hug him? Like, they just hugged him. It wasn't even a protection formation. Like, the low line was still there.
It was a group hug.
Everybody in the backfield just hugged him.
It was a group hug.
Oh, my God. And even Mike Tomlin, who doesn't bring character that often, he couldn't even handle himself. He just ran over and just tackle hugged the guy. Like, he just, I think he just knows. I think he just knows what he means to this franchise. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody knows. And yeah, Ben is not what he was in his prime. He's still pretty good. He's still, he can still do some things, but he's not what he was in his prime. But hey, he's doing enough to win. He was really good in that fourth quarter against the Ravens. He got
there was a great quote I heard that, like, it really matters what you do in the regular season, but all that goes away once you get into the playoffs. Because you get into the playoffs, it's anybody's game. we've beaten two of the teams that have beaten these Chiefs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, on to the Chiefs.
I'm not saying it's undoable. I'm saying it's unlikely, but I'm not saying it's undoable. The Steelers have a shot. You cannot count this team out. No.
Let's go back to when we were talking about that Super Bowl year in 2005. In that Super Bowl year, they beat the Colts in the AFC champion. No, I'm sorry, in the playoffs. It was the AFC championship game was against the Broncos.
First they beat the Cincinnati Bengals because they'll forever kill us for ruining Carson Palmer's knee.
That was the Kimo von Oelhoffen taking out Carson Wentz's knee game. Yeah.
Carson Palmer, but yeah,
Carson Palmer, yeah,
he got pushed into that tackle.
Carson,
I will forever defend that man, but
it was a total accident. It was a total accident.
Was.
Okay, and then the next week was the Colts game. Now, remember that year. Now the Colts that was prime Colts. That was Peyton Manning. I believe Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison. That was like a super team.
Yeah, they had like 2 losses or 3 losses that year. Like they were nigh unstoppable.
Well, one of them was not against the Steelers because they played the Steelers in the regular season, and I believe that was a blowout. So then they play them in the playoffs. I believe so. I don't
remember the record that well.
I could check that, but my point is they blew out. They beat the Steelers in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, the Steelers beat them. So maybe the same thing's going to happen this time.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, we do have an elite pass rusher. I mean, the quarterback's not quite where he was. We do have an elite running back. So, I mean, we got 2 out of the 3. Maybe we make it work.
It's just a big bunch of ifs.
I mean, isn't that every NFL game, though? It's a big bunch of ifs. What if Patrick Mahomes comes down with COVID tomorrow? Like, he ain't playing. Not that I wish that on the man. Nobody listening to this. I do not wish COVID on anybody. Please.
The Colts beat the Steelers 26-7 in the regular season in 2005 in week 12.
There you go. And we brought him down to the wire, and Vanderjagt made the mistake of pointing at Coach Cowher.
I didn't know that.
Go back and watch if you go back and watch the documentary America's Game about that, they talk about there's this point where you can watch Vanderjagt walk off and point, and he's pointing at Cowher.
Whoa.
And he's like, I got this. And he shanks the kick. And everybody in Steeler Nation loses their out of their loving mind. Because then we whipped the Broncos the next. I remember the Broncos game not being anything.
It was
whipped the Broncos.
And the thing is, it's like, well, Ben played really bad in the Super Bowl, but he basically took that team, put that team on his back against Cincinnati, the Colts, and the Broncos to get them to the Super Bowl. But yeah. So I mean. I remember it was last year. Last year, the Steelers lost to the Browns. We don't want to go over that game again. But so the Browns then went on to play the Chiefs. And remember, they very nearly beat the Chiefs.
Vaguely,
that was a game. That was a game where Mahomes got hurt, and the backup, I think his name's Matt Moore or something like that, had to play. And he actually played pretty well, and that's why they won. But it was still really close.
Yeah.
So things can happen.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? TJ Watt could come out and take out Patrick Mahomes' elbow. Like, you've seen that karate chop. That karate chop he has is freaking epic.
He could just sever the arm. The arm could just go flying.
We present this to you as an honor. Oh God, that got gory.
Mahomes is just walking around like, what happened to my arm? Oh my God. It could happen, the TJ can have the game of his life. Cam Hayward can have the game of his life. They could put pressure on Mahomes. The things could happen.
There's no team in this AFC division that is unbeatable to us. We have either been in games or beaten them in games. So I don't see where the question is here. The Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, they whipped us the one time we played them, but we played them one time. Come back and see how they play us the second time. Let's go.
Well,
like, I'm down for that fight.
I think it's very valuable that they did play that one time, because now the Steelers can go back and say, okay, here's what we did wrong. Here's how we can fix it. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are saying, oh, we got this. We this is going to be easy. This is going to be a cakewalk.
The one place I think this is really going to pay off is at the line of scrimmage, because with receivers and quarterbacks and running backs, you can change routes and rollouts and different things. With an offensive line in a season, it's tough to completely change a scheme. So the Steelers just learned that scheme in the week 16 that they played them. So now they know their scheme. They know what their blocking tendencies are. A defensive line can change up much quicker than an offensive line can. An offensive line is a unit. So if one offensive lineman is off pace, that's going to screw up the whole unit. So let's hope to God that somebody thinks they know better than the rest of the Kansas City offensive line and jumps out in front of Cam Hayward, and Cam Hayward just cuts his nose off and sacks the crap out of Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm hoping for.
It's just one game. Things can happen. I mean, look at the playoff game between the Steelers and the Browns. That was a complete disaster, because it started out as a disaster with Pouncey throwing the ball over the head and them getting a touchdown. And after that, it was like, and it was just a whole bunch of other disasters that could happen. Things can happen. The balls can bounce funny. Things can.
Look at the Cardinals. Who was the other one that wondered? Cardinals and somebody tied for their division. Who was that?
Rams.
Cardinals and Rams tied for their division. Both incredibly explosive offensive teams, but you can get derailed. You're not impossible to beat. So, yeah, just saying.
There are no super teams this year. There are no unbeatable teams. There are no mega awesome teams in either conference. Maybe I would say that the Packers are the most complete team right now. But every other team has question marks. If I had to take
a team point blank and I was putting money on it, I would pick the Packers right now.
Yeah.
But I would also not stand by that 30 minutes from now, because I would change my mind for random reasons. So I'm a terrible bettor.
The other thing that's weird is this was this the first year of the only one team getting the
no, last year was.
Last year they did that too. Okay.
Yeah, last year 7 teams from each division made the playoffs. Only one team got a bye. The second seed still had to play.
Yeah. So I wonder how much that's going to help the Titans and the Packers. Especially the Titans. I think it's going to help them a lot.
Especially the Titans if they get Derrick Henry back. Isn't Derrick Henry back?
I'm pretty sure he'll be back the next time they play.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
That's going to make them really good.
Looking way past the game that we're not supposed to win, I don't look forward to
playing
the Titans.
after we beat the Chiefs, then we do have to play the Titans. That is the team we would play next.
The Titans scare me less than the Chiefs do.
We already beat them.
That's why they scare me less.
Yeah. We already beat the Titans.
I think we can already beat the Titans. I think we can honestly, I really think we could beat the Bengals. We could beat the Raiders. The Patriots we never played, so that would be interesting because their main attack is running. So that would be probably pretty tough for us.
Well, after we beat the Chiefs and then after we beat the Titans, next we would face, I believe, the Bills.
And we already beat them too.
Yeah, we already beat them too. So this is Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
We got a feeling. Yeah, we got
Jesus is going to the Super Bowl. God, that was so out of tune.
And then, but the thing that, I mean, the entire Sunday day was just one of the most coolest things ever, because yes, you had the Steelers and the Ravens playing at 1:00, but what they also needed to make the playoffs was for Jacksonville to beat the Colts. And all the Colts needed to do was beat the 2-14 Jaguars, and whose fans show up to the stadium wearing clown masks because they're so embarrassed. And it wasn't even a close game. It wasn't even close.
The funniest statistic I heard that a whole weekend, they haven't won in that stadium since 2014. 2014.
How do you
that is
know?
Insane. Even the Ravens have beat us more recently than that. And that's disgraceful to us. They haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014.
That's just weird. That's just weird. There have been some really bad Jacksonville teams in the past few years.
And that's a team you play twice a year. That's a team you play at least one time at indoor stadium. You haven't beaten them in 7 years. And that team has been this bad. That team is tied for. That team is in second place for the worst record over the last 5 years. The Jets and the Giants are tied for first.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how your entire season is on the line, and you basically say, "Go beat that really crappy team that doesn't even whose coach." was a disgrace and one of the worst coaches ever that they fired. All you need to do is beat that team who's going to have the number one pick for the second year in a row in the draft, and you lay an egg like that.
I'm going to disgrace myself a little bit, and because I was a Carson Wentz supporter. Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback. I'm gonna say it, Indy. I believed in him. I thought he got a bad rap in Philly. He is not a good quarterback. That man, get him out of your backfield. Get him to do something else.
They're stuck with him.
Go get him to run your locker room or something. Cut Carson Wentz from your team. He is not a good player. That is my solace because I have defended that man for years.
I get it. I thought, because he started out awesome in Philly and then it went horribly wrong. And it's like, well, he just needs a change of scenery. It's like, oh, a change of scenery back to the coach that loves him and he's so good with. Like, oh, this will be a perfect marriage. And well, I mean, he was hurt. He had injuries and stuff like that. But
that's always his excuse. He's always injured. If you're always injured, retire. Yeah. I understand you want to keep playing. I get it. It's your passion. But if you're always hurt and can't play, stop draining teams' funds for that.
He always does this thing where at the worst possible moment, he does the worst possible thing. In some of these games, he basically took the ball from the center, put gift wrap on it, handed it to the other team and said, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday it is, Happy Flag Day,
Merry New Year's, let's go.
Happy New Year. Here's the ball. Please be my guest. Please go to the end zone. I mean, the worst possible times he did the worst possible thing. It was he just don't got it. And, and you look at Sunday night, Herbert, 4th and 5, 4th and 10, 4th and 13, 4th and 21. It didn't matter. He was winging it.
Guns.
He was making it every single time.
Oh yeah, he was slinging guns the entire time. Herbert, I have no question on. Derek Carr,
yeah.
He's a little. I will give him a little bit of due in that he showed up a bit clutch in the last few games. He did show up. He did show a bit of clutch play in the last few games. I'm not saying he has a great arm. I'm not saying he's the next Brett Favre, but he showed up.
I got a lot of respect for the Raiders because after all they've been through with the coach and that horrible thing with the player, and every year they did this thing where they start out good and then they have a collapse, and they were doing the exact same thing this year, but they recovered at the end.
And they made it to the playoffs.
And they made it to the playoffs.
How classic would it be to have another AFC Raiders Steelers playoff game? Oh, how classic!
That would be awesome.
How classic would that be?
That'd be awesome. That's what we need. You know, the Raiders Steelers were definitely before your time. It was a little bit before my time because that was the 70s.
I've watched those tapes so many times. Are you kidding me?
Those weren't just that wasn't just a rivalry. Those weren't just games. That was a war. Like I'm surprised they didn't have like bazookas and tanks out there.
I've watched those entire games of the Raiders and Steelers from the early 70s because my dad was like, "You have to understand why we hate the Raiders." And I was like, okay, I get it now. We don't like those people. And I was like 6 at the time. So I was like very impressionable. I was like, yeah, I get it. I mean, in this day and age, I really don't get it. They're not in our division. Who gives a crap? But yeah, I mean, when they come together, they really don't like each other. So I get it. The Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens, I get. But even the Eagles, I get. We play the Eagles next year. Last game of the season, supposedly.
Oh, interesting. What in Philly?
You can come over. You can stay. I will drive you back and forth. We can get a good cheesesteak. Like an actual, I mean, we're not getting a cheesesteak in Philly. We're getting an actual good cheesesteak. But
what's an actual good cheesesteak in Philly?
It's an actual good cheesesteak. Yeah.
What is it?
It's outside of Philly, but it's an actual good cheesesteak because
who makes it?
The guy, a place named Pudge's.
Pudge's, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
They only got like 2 locations.
So is Pat's and Gino's like the tourist traps?
Yes, very, very, very much so. You will not get every Philly person can come at me for that one because I know that any Philly person will actually back me up on that.
I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, all you hear about outside of Philly is Pats and Geno's, which is the best, and then like the real ones know. The real ones know the actual good places. So
like I can take you to get a real cheesesteak in a place that also serves other real good food. It's called the Franklin Market.
Okay.
They also serve like pork sandwiches, like Amish food. Like it's really, really great.
It's the same thing with deep dish pizza in Chicago. It's like I don't even think real Chicago people even like deep dish pizza. I think that's just like a tourist thing.
I have had it. It's not terrible. It's not that different. It's the thickness and the cornbread crust. That's drastically the only difference.
So let's predict some of these wild card games because it's going to be a fun weekend. I love the wild card weekend. Wild card weekend is my second favorite, but then the week after that, the division round, that is my favorite because you know, in wild card weekend, there are some playoff teams that don't really belong, that don't really deserve to be there, and they'll get weeded out. The division round is actually where the good teams are. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited for the week after this weekend. But anyway, Bengals Raiders. Who do you think is going to win that?
I had to pick. I
think Bengals.
I think it's their Bengals. Time. My only holdup is the fact that Josh Jones goes off in that game because I don't think the Bengals' run defense is that good, is it?
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I don't think the Bengals' run defense is that good, is it?
I'm not sure. They just looked really good this year. The Bengals are every superhero before they learn to master all their powers. They're like still learning.
I can run anywhere. Yeah.
Well, they're still learning how to be a superhero, and because I did not think they were going to be this good this quick. So I think
me either. I thought that offensive line was still going to get Joe Burrow crushed.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and no, he was fine. So I think the Bengals are going to win there. Bills Patriots. I think Bills are going to stomp them.
yeah, I think the Bills have the capability to stomp them. The Bills have a good defense. The Bills have a half decent running game, and Josh Allen's unpredictable, and he can actually throw the ball. No offense, and I know Jacob's going to hear this, but no offense to Lamar Jackson, he's a better runner / passer than Lamar Jackson is.
Way better passer, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and very good, and still a good runner. So yeah, I think the Bills are going to be okay, and they have that extra added factor of because they absolutely hate the Patriots, and not only do they,
Don't
I mean,
we all? Like,
well,
aren't we
they
all
but
rise
they
up as a society and just hate the Patriots?
Hey, a lot of people rise up as a society to hate the Steelers, but anyway, and Ben, but
I feel like the Patriots are a little bit more hated than the Steelers. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
But I mean, but the Bills really hate the Bills really hate the Patriots historically, but especially this year when they played that game in Buffalo and there was like a blizzard with like 90-mile-an-hour winds and it totally messed up the Bills and the Patriots won because they were smart enough to just run the ball all the time. And the crap that the Bills got for that, I think they're still angry about that. So
oh yeah, they gotta have that hatred in them. Yeah.
The hatred. Rams and Cardinals. Ooh, that's gonna be good.
This one, if I could flip a coin, can I flip a coin for this one? Because this one, if I had to legitimately pick one, I think the Rams are the better team. I think Kyler Murray might be the better quarterback, and they might have the better receiver in Hopkins. But Hopkins isn't playing, is he? Is Hopkins playing?
I would assume he's coming back. I'm not sure. I would think he would come back.
Hopkins is the better receiver, but you got Cooper Kupp, you got Aaron Donald on the Rams. I gotta go Rams on that one.
But
if I had to logically pick it, I would say that. If I was playing fantasy right now, Cardinals all the way.
The big question mark is Matthew Stafford. Which one are you gonna get? Because he's almost like Carson Wentz. Sometimes,
he's not that bad.
He's not that bad. But there are times when he's bad. He makes some really dumb plays. He can be good too.
He puts up almost 600 yards.
Yeah. So he can be good or he can be bad. So that's something to keep an eye on.
I mean, it just depends on what game you get him in. So
we'll see. And I think he was in the playoffs once with the Lions. I'm not sure, but this might be. I mean, he's this is still new to him to be actually on a good team. So we'll see. Cowboys and 49ers. Ooh, 49ers, it's going to be interesting. 49ers. You think the 49ers?
I want the 49ers. I hate the Cowboys. I will forever hate the Cowboys. I will forever hate the Cowboys for that Super Bowl. I will forever hate them. They could die in hell. Sorry. Again, I know I can't. I'm sorry I can't curse on your show, but they can die. They can die.
Yes. Yeah, I think our hatred of the Cowboys as a society is something that can bring us all together. We all hate the Patriots and we all hate the Cowboys. So let's hope it's not a New England Dallas Super Bowl.
By our powers combined.
Yes.
Destroy the Cowboys. Honestly, the Cowboys will probably destroy themselves. They're probably going to get away from the run too early and rely on Dak Prescott, and then their defense is decimated. So they're going to get ripped apart.
I think the Cowboys are really good. I
do not. When they get away from their game plan, I do not believe in them.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott's not good outside of play action, and when their running backs are hurt, they get away from.
I think he's better than that. You know who's not good? Jimmy G. That's someone that's not good.
Meh. I will take the 49ers offense and their run game and their defense over the Cowboys.
We'll see. Bucks and Eagles. Do the Eagles have a chance here? I actually think they do.
It depends on the Eagles team that shows up.
Yeah.
And I say that being a quasi-Eagles fan and living in Philadelphia. if the play calling is anywhere adequate, like they run the ball heavy because that's their strength, and then they use a little RPO because Jalen Hurts can move in the pocket, and then they rely on their defensive line, which is one of their strengths, and do some deep covers and take away some big plays from Dallas. I think, or not Dallas, who are they playing?
Tampa.
They're playing Tampa Bay. And they take away, because Brady's great at the zone, but if you drop enough people, he can't diagnose where exactly the zone's going, if you catch my drift. So if the run is not going to be there. I don't think Fournette's going to play. I don't think their second guy is going to play.
That's the thing. The Tampa has a lot of questions.
Yeah.
They have the ability, they have the players, they have talent there. They just have to figure out how to make it work. And I'm sure they'll figure it out. But
all they do, what was the Super Bowl they won? 34? All they do is come out shouting 34, 34, 34. And that's in Tom Brady's head the entire night. And Tom Brady's like, I have no idea what to call right now.
They're gonna acquire Nick Foles, or the Eagles are gonna get Nick Foles right before the game. And
I really hate that narrative, because Nick Foles is not that good a quarterback. He got really lucky behind the best offensive line the Eagles have ever had in the past 10 years, and a defense that played way out of its weight class. So I will look.
Anyway, but still,
the Steelers might do that this year, and I will be eating my words. I'm not saying that, but Nick Foles is not that good a quarterback.
But I think he's undefeated against Brady, which is crazy.
Undefeated against Brady in what? One Super Bowl and one other game? Get Eli Manning out of retirement.
Still 2-0. He's 2-0.
Retirement.
Yes, it's a small sample size, but still.
You beat him in 2 Super Bowls.
Oh boy. So
wait, where's that other Manning? Get that other Manning out of retirement.
Other Manning, yeah. Oh boy. It's yeah. I just can't believe we're here. I can't believe that the Steelers are in the playoffs. Steelers
got a shot. I mean, like, I in my logical brain, I'm sitting here like, we just got whipped by the Kansas City Chiefs 2 weeks ago. There's logically no way we're going to win this game. But in my heart, I'm like, you know what? People show up big in big time games, and they just do things. They do things that are outside of the spectrum of things that they will ever do again. And
it's
maybe
game.
Who's that little number 48 linebacker that lines up when TJ is not in? Tuska, something like that. Maybe Tuska goes for 5 sacks in this game. Like, who knows?
Sure.
Tuska goes for 5 sacks and a strip fumble for a touchdown. And the Steelers pull this game out and they eke it out. The Chiefs have lost a close scoring game. They only scored 3 points against the Titans in one game.
What do you think everybody in Kansas City, what do you think all the Chiefs fans and everybody's thinking? It's like, oh, this is going to be easy for the Chiefs. And what if crazy things happen? And what if the Chiefs are losing at halftime or something like that? And they're like, oh my God, can we lose this? I mean, things could happen.
I think that, so this is going to sound really weird for a team that won the fourth Super Bowl, but I think the Chiefs fans are unfamiliar with success, because the Chiefs have been bad for a long time, or at least mediocre.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to turn very easily on their team and be like, well, what the hell are you doing? Why is this going on? Why are you calling these plays? Why are you letting them rush on this defense this way? Why is that pass being completed? like that sort of thing, like questioning every little move and starting to just get those little murmurs under their breath, not boos necessarily, but those little like
well, that's the thing. The home field advantage is supposed to be such a big deal in Kansas City, and it's supposed to be the loudest stadium, blah blah blah. Well,
yeah, I thought that was Seahawks. I thought they
okay
with Seahawks.
But it's not cool to say we're the second loudest stadium. But still, they're loud. But you know, if they're losing, they're not going to be that loud. So it's like you said, it's like, oh, there's gonna be murmurs, like, oh my god. So we'll see. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. It would be an amazing story if the Steelers won.
If I had to predict it, if it came down to the last gun and Big Ben had the ball in his hand within striking distance, I'd have to say it's going to be a pump to the outside and Freiermuth coming wide open over the middle, and just Freiermuth doing that little lay down catch cradle that he does so well.
Do you remember? I think it was I think it was the Vikings game when the Steelers almost made that amazing comeback. And there was, like, at the very end, Ben throws it into the end zone for Freiermuth, and he barely misses it. Maybe that's his redemption. Maybe his redemption is to catch the game-winning touchdown.
Maybe it is. And you just hear the entire stadium, like, overwhelmed with just the mood. By the way, Side note to that. Can we give Zach Gentry his due this year? Zach Gentry, despite not being quite the receiving threat that Freiermuth has been, Zach Gentry has pulled his own this year. He has blocked like nobody's business and caught everything that is thrown his way and fought for yards. So Zach Gentry, this is me right here, Andrew Dzurko. I don't know if you listen to this podcast. Nobody listens to this podcast. Well, I mean, apparently a lot of people do. But you deserve to make the team next year. Oh, keep it up.
So
you're amazing.
So he was a project, and he really didn't do anything for, like, I don't know, the first 2 or 3 years of as a player. Up. And then now it's exactly what you said. He was making catches. He can block. He's basically Jesse James 2.0.
He's a better Jesse James. Jesse James, again, no offense, you caught the pass, but just put my 2 cents in here. Zach Gentry, you deserve the job as tight end number 2 next year. I don't care who they draft. Saying it now.
We need the line to block like they've never blocked before. We needed the receivers we need Ray to have a good game.
What did they switch up? They switched something up in the second game. They switched up the center, right? Was Kendrick hurt?
He was hurt and he had COVID. So now it's Hassenauer. JC Hassenauer is the center, which I think is a good move.
I think it was a good move because they looked like they moved the ball better in the last 2 games.
Right.
What are they going to do with Kendrick? Do they have any idea? Are they jumping him around? Are they putting him at guard or something?
No, I think he might be done for this year. You know, maybe who knows what's going to happen next year. I think the thing
so right now our offensive line is Hassenauer, Dotson.
No, Dotson's hurt. Right now, the offensive line is Haig at left tackle, LeGlue at left guard, Hassenauer at center, Trey Turner at right guard, and Chooks at right tackle.
Oh, jeez. That is an offensive line to try to go to battle with. Look, I still remember the last time, the last Super Bowl we won, because the offensive line got so much crap for Ben getting sacked, and Ben held up the Super Bowl trophy at one point. It's like, how's that looking now, O-line? Like, I get it. I don't know that Ben's at that level to perform that way, but I don't know. Maybe not.
He's been doing it. He's been doing it, though. He's been getting it done. So
he got us this far, man.
He got us this far. So we're gonna need the game of their lives from those guys.
Give me 4 more games like that. Give me 4 out of your mind games, and I could be done with you for the entirety of your career. You could never play another game, and I will hold you in my heart as all-time Steelers.
Yeah, we need Deontay to have a big game. Chase Claypool gotta step up. He did all right against the Ravens.
He finally started catching passes against the Ravens. I was actually pretty shocked by that.
He finally contributed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we need him. We need Deontay. We need Najee. We need Freiermuth. Those are the 4 that are going to help Ben succeed.
Yeah.
You give me those 4 produce in actual decent numbers. This team puts up points and scares the ever-loving you-know-what out of the Chiefs. At the very least, if not beats them.
We will see. But you're telling me there's a chance. We're in the dance.
I'm telling you, there is never not a chance with this team. This team is the absolute standard for this league. This is why you compete. This is the team you try to put together. This is the organization you try to put together. This team is the standard, regardless of whether we're in the Super Bowl or not, every single year. We have won the most. Somebody come at us.
So all you people saying that Tomlin sucks, just please be quiet.
The man has never had a losing season.
And yet people still complain about him. It's pathetic.
The man has never had a losing season.
I'm
doing my best Italian hands right now.
Hey, what's the matter, you? Hey, you're making me pop up my microphone. Hey.
Seriously, the man has never had a losing season. I can't even think of another coach in the history of football that has done that. Granted, I don't go back and study the history of football past the actual NFL.
Ben, his entire career has not had a losing season. That's amazing.
Seriously. What kind of consistency do you get? Where do you get that kind of consistency? Yeah, you could have a quarterback that has an up and down year and maybe stick with him. Maybe he bumps back up and he has a decent year and he throws a touchdown or more. Yeah, cool. He ain't winning you Super Bowls. Sorry.
Yeah. But all right. So let's see what happens. Oh
my God. This season took all I thought I had, and then
it was an emotional roller coaster. This entire season was an emotional roller coaster. And that last, who's that?
That's Diamond.
Hi, Diamond.
Say hi.
All right, sir. Hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks. See you.
Bye, guys. Diamond.
Oh, say bye.
What a cutie. Aw. All right. I'll see you.
See you.